So pick up your microphone, please.
How am I doing?
So pick up your mic. I saw this thing, I don't know, on Instagram for sure. And she's like, what did she call it? The jick or something? It's like the jeans dick. She's like, this is my jick.
That's actually really funny. I always have a jick. Then.
Yeah.
It's
all right.
ridiculous.
I know. It'll be all right.
Of course.
Can I get an oh yeah?
Oh yeah.
Oh, fuck you. Hey guys, here we are. Welcome back. It's episode 2 of our return. It feels
you do
good.
A peace sign.
Episode 2.
Oh, okay.
But I think it was
2 is actually 170. But yeah, episode 2 back of the return.
Okay. And Madison and I, the topic we're going to discuss today, we go in a lot on. We always are talking about this because we think it's interesting. We think it's funny. We think it's fucked up. There's a million reasons why we talk about this.
Yes.
And I'm going to lead it in by reminding you all that there was a day and a time that I got ghosted. So let's relive that moment for a second.
Okay, so are we going to surprise them with what we're going to talk about?
Yes, we're going to lead you in. We're going to lead you in.
Okay, let's go.
And I got ghosted probably like, I guess almost 2 years ago now, maybe a little bit less. And I ran into that person this weekend in public.
Okay.
And it's not a big deal. No, like I don't feel any sort of way other than it like reminded me that, whoa, rejection's out there. Whoa, that didn't feel good when it happened.
Well, okay.
Oh,
we
it's
just, like,
awkward.
Backpedal a little bit and
Okay.
give them context as to where we were and like, can we lay the
Sure.
stage? Because I think that adds to how funny this was.
Okay.
In
I mean,
my mind,
so this
anyway.
is not at all about like, this is just a little segue off. Okay.
Yes, but it's worth saying because this person, like the odds of running into this person, I guess, but they weren't that high. Like after we talked about it I guess they were kind of high. But this person lives in Santa Clarita. We live in San Diego, which is like a few hours away. And we were at a Supercross event and we're walking in the pits and we're just walking, enjoying. We're looking at like the riders where they set up and we're like, this is so great. This is cool. And then Tess literally bumps into someone and I'm walking by Tess and then she looks over at me and whispers, like she says something and I like didn't hear what she said because I was just like looking at other shit. And then I turned around and like all of a sudden it like caught me of what she said. She was like, oh, that's so and so. And I looked back and just looked right in his eyes for a good 4 seconds, which is fucking long. And I just stopped my head back super quick and I was like, wow, good times.
Here we are. And so it's just funny looking back on it now that I'm in a very healthy, loving, stable relationship. Like it doesn't hurt my feelings anymore, but it definitely brings the sting back a little bit where you're just like,
why?
That really like bruised the ego at that moment in my life.
Yeah.
And I learned a lot from it.
We even had an episode, I think. I wish I could remember. Yeah, about it.
About ghosting.
Yes.
I don't remember what we called it, but it's in there. If you were curious, we could link you. Message us because I'm not going to find it unless you need it. But then we were out on a walk yesterday and these 2 gals behind us were chit-chatting and one of the girls was telling her friend, so we've been talking a lot recently and we were going to hang out on Sunday, but then I hadn't heard from him all day, so I got ready because we're supposed to hang out. And then he still hadn't called. So I reached out to him and he was like, oh yeah, sorry, I'm not feeling well. So we're going to have to like reschedule this.
And I barely heard this, but all I heard after that was, and I totally understand that. And I'm just thinking, okay, I don't think
he was
down. He's not into you anymore. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
But moral of the story is to say that the conversation of, I don't even know what we're talking, dating, relationships, or I guess it's not, I don't know, situationships.
Who even knows what you call this?
This is what this episode is about. That was like literally the longest lead in. Like, are you even interested? Anyone listening still? That's what we're talking about today. And moral of all those stories is that it's really, right? Like that was such a long lead in.
You know what? Well, I did a majority of the leading there, so I feel so bad.
Well, I was just like, wait,
I drug you all along.
Start. Anyway, that's what we're talking about today. And it's just like is a topic of conversation with everyone. Like even when I'm hiking and people are in groups or they're in like twosomes and they're walking, like most people are always talking about like a date they went on or some relationship they're in. And I think Tess and I are both very fascinated by just human behavior in general. And so this is inherently funny and interesting to talk about for us anyway.
Yeah. It's like a big social experiment. And sometimes you get bruised along the way and sometimes you make it out just fine. And what I really want to dive into is because, okay, Madison is what I think is really good at not really being personally involved in the situation, even if it does involve you. You kind of remove yourself enough to where you're still part of it, but you're not getting your feelings hurt by things. And I think that's helpful because maybe me 2 years ago would have not been able to do such a thing. Like I really remember the times where things would happen and I would be like, what? And I would get like personally attacked by it. And it's like, maybe it doesn't have anything to do with me. I don't know. I just think I invested more time and energy into things than I should have. And so today I wanted to make this episode because I feel like I've been hearing so much about it. I remembered my previous experiences this past weekend, and I was like, maybe it could be helpful to someone to hear what we have to say. Now me on the other side of this whole thing, and Madison, and you're still single and you're still dating around, but like hearing how you navigate these situations makes me laugh. And I'm like, no way. Like you're kind of like a dude in some ways when it comes to this. I'm like, she's just, maybe it's a defense mechanism at some times of like, I have to be this way because otherwise it will hurt. So I'm just going to make sure I don't let it penetrate me. But I think also it is authentic to you of, well, I just genuinely don't like, I'm not going to get too attached to the idea of someone or something because I'm just going to let it play out and see how it goes.
I mean, it's definitely both of those things, I'm sure. Like defense mechanism, even from when I was younger. I don't know, maybe I developed it, but I just feel like I don't know how I feel about it. It's like easier to detach myself from the situation and think about maybe like I spend more time thinking about how that person is in their life and like how we have no connection really at the start. Or I guess, okay, so you have the initial spark or whatever it is, but like he's living his own life, I'm living my own life. So I try to like put my head in that position versus like creating this narrative of what it would be like to be in a relationship with that person, you know? Like I try not to go too deep as to like imagining like us going on dates and holding hands in the future and shit like that. Okay. But I know a lot of people do that. I do know that. And I've obviously done that to some degree with people, but it's like very helpful to not do that because if they were to cut it off, then I'm not like sad over this imaginary picture I had in my head of how the relationship would be.
Okay. But then you start to go, okay, you want to be able to get excited about someone or the potential of something, right? You don't want to be cynical about it and kind of deter yourself or the other person from pursuing something if it's there. But I think my issue was in the past not being able to read the situation properly and not really understanding like what my next move should be because I was probably fuck you.
No, sorry.
You just I think you're allowed to laugh at me now because you know I'm okay now.
Yes, of course.
But I feel like it wasn't my shiniest moment back then. It was sad. And I'm trying to help you now in case you're there.
Yeah. No, I like that. It's good to have like a case study because when we were talking about
this,
well, you know, like in a sense, I feel like that's like very, it reminds me of like when we were in college and we had to study that because it's like because I can't generalize like a whole population of women or how people date. So it's nice to have your story and I know it so closely that I can give advice to that younger version of Tess.
Okay. But even the girl on the walk yesterday, it's like you want to look at her and be like, you're okay. You don't need to go after this person. If they're not showing you that they're equally interested, then let it go to rest.
Right. But then I think it's something to be said. I mean, a million things could be said, but we could even go in on like maybe she's just not that confident or like in a sense that she doesn't think someone else is going to come along. So she's like really trying to hold on tight to that one person. I feel like a lot of times that's also it. Like I've heard of people, and I try not to do this, but if you don't have attention from a potential significant other for a long time, you're single, and then someone starts paying you attention, it's not like I want to jump at the first opportunity because I have an unlimited mindset. And I think that no one else is going to come along for a long time. So I like try to make this one work. I just don't really agree with that. Because in my mind, that's settling. Not saying I'm not going to try. Like, obviously, yeah, I will. But if the signs are there that he's not that interested, then all right, I wish you well. And I'm going to move on now.
Okay. Can we dive into you a little bit more? Because
Yeah.
obviously it was a whole thing. Okay. But for you, you've been single for quite a long time now. I know you're Jick.
Dude.
Mine too. Don't get self-conscious. It's fine.
Right.
It's fine. I don't know if you can even see it.
Yeah, you probably can't. It probably looks more flat.
Yeah.
It's fine.
It's fine. You've been single for a while. And like people might look at you and go, well, how and why?
Dude, a question that I get so annoyed at, like, is when people are like, well, how have you been single so long? Is there something wrong with you? Literally,
they say that? Is there something wrong with you?
Said that? Yeah, I'll tell you who asked me that later. But if someone says that to me, that's an immediate, like, don't fucking talk to me anymore. Like, I get immediately turned off by that.
Well, obviously, because it's like.
And they're like pursuing you, but they're asking you that shit. And I'm like, that's such a weird thing to say.
Tell me right now.
Dude, that laugh.
Oh my God.
I know. I was like immediately just was like, I'm over this, like right away.
Okay. So I think, okay, but like, let's talk about this though, because maybe some people really do think this way. They're like, how? You're so beautiful. You're confident. You're funny. Like I'm sorry, I'm pumping you up right now, but it's true. That's how I view you. And so it's puzzling to people because I think as humans, we are very relational creatures. So then it's like, well, how is this person not doing that in their life? Like, are they craving it? Are they not like, I think people are just genuinely curious.
Yeah. So you're asking me to answer?
Yes.
Oh, okay. So it's just like, I just need to know right
now. No, it's not me. It's the people.
The people. I would say that for the majority of my 20s, I just did not want a romantic relationship. Because in my mind, like I would say that this year is probably the first year in all of my entire 20s, and I'm 29. This is the first year that I've ever thought of like, oh, I like having a boyfriend would be sick, or like being married would be cool. Having a husband, I would love that. This is literally like the first year that I felt that like as strong. Well, because I feel like this is going to sound kind of messed up, but I viewed for a long time that if I had a partner that they would slow me down like in my journey. Like I never until now like thought that I could grow with a person because I was like on my own self-discovery journey, and that was just my belief system. Not saying that that's right, obviously, because I know a ton of people who have boyfriends or whatever and they grow in the direction together, which is awesome, but for me that just wasn't my mindset.
Do you think it wasn't your mindset because you saw in your close life relationships that were holding each other back?
Yeah, maybe. Like, no, not one relationship comes to mind.
Or do you think that it was about you because you were, in a sense, needing to be really selfish in that moment and get yourself to new places, that you just couldn't spend energy on somebody else because you needed to spend it on yourself?
Yes, and also I didn't like the idea of someone holding me down or holding me back in a way. Like if I wanted to go do something like travel or go live in a different country, like I didn't want to have to be like, oh no, but so-and-so has a job back here, like fuck, we should stay. Fair enough. So like I had these really big dreams and I wanted to do a million things, and I was like, all right, whoever's along for the ride, even if it's for like 6 weeks, sick. After that, all right. So that was just how I thought.
Okay. I mean, that's cool.
There's a lot of like if I think about it, there's a lot of things that go into that, but that's basically summary.
Okay. Now, where you're at today has shifted, and why do you think that is?
Well, even to go deeper into this topic, I feel like at the beginning of my 20s, I like went through an eating disorder and I didn't, like my hormones were kind of all fucked up. So I feel like I literally, like this is going to sound so lame, but I was not really in touch like with my deep feminine, I don't think. And now as I'm getting older, like the idea of having a family and like a partner is like, that sounds like something that I want.
Okay.
And previously I just think not only were my hormones in balance, but just like my mindset was maybe more masculine or like that go hustle.
Yeah.
And it still kind of is, but there's like more of a balance.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I just think I'm just like stepping into another era of me. And that's what that is.
Okay.
Yeah. And I feel like beginning of like maybe 19 to like 20, mid 20s, I was just like really messing around and having a lot of fun. And I was like, all right, I got to peel back. Like this is not feeling right to me. And so I had to like hibernate for a few years. And now I'm like, all right, I'm ready. Yeah. I was actually writing this down in my journal the other day because I was like, this is not even about dating really, but it kind of
is about dating. It's about you and your dating life.
Yeah. But I was just thinking, I was like, oh my God, I lost my train of thought. I'm sad.
When you were journaling.
Yeah. But it's about like hibernating and doing that. It'll come back to me.
Okay. So now that you're coming out of hibernation.
Yes. Oh, what I was journaling is that, yeah, like someone just needed to say hibernation, is that I don't know when I decided this, but that like my life was going to be like, a lot of my life was going to be about finding like myself on like a super deep level or like establishing myself. So it's like the amount of transformations I've had to go through is so insane. And I'm like, is this happening to everyone? Like I've had like so many different versions of Madison's where I'm like, holy shit, like which one sticks? Obviously the core values are still there, but it's just like insane how many transformations I've had.
Great for you.
I mean, maybe, yeah.
It's hard work. It's exhausting, but I think that's great. That's, to me, yes, career success is cool. Yes, having money is cool. All of that stuff that comes with growth in a traditional sense is great, but being able to evolve as a human mentally, physically, and like spiritually, that's the stuff that you obviously need to go in. Like that's what we're here for. I think that's what we're here to do.
Yeah, I agree.
So to spend time, and when most people are like out fucking around doing whatever they want and like not really thinking about the deeper picture here, to spend time on yourself and get to know yourself deeper, I think is important and sets you up to really understand what you want. Like I observe you now and how you approach others, like potential suitors, right? If we can call it that. I talk like I'm a fucking old woman sometimes.
I like it. Well, that's like suitors, when I say partner or something and people are like, oh, are you gay? I'm like, no, I like men, but like partner. Like, is that old? Like,
but I think that's what it is. Like, I think Philip to me is my partner because we do everything together. Like, not everything, but we like work for each other.
Word
yes, my boyfriend sounds like we're in high school, and he's just like someone I fuck around with, and like I think he's cute.
Yeah, yeah, he's a boyfriend. Yeah, exactly. Okay.
To me, a partner is like we're really doing this life together. We just haven't gone the extra step of calling him like my husband.
Yeah, right. And I also feel like I like interrupted a really good thought, and I'm kind of sad.
Of yours?
Yours.
Oh, oh no, I think I was just saying like now that I'm watching you approach your dating life, you are more in tune with what you want. Sometimes that I think hinders you from going after like the fun of it.
Yes.
Because you know what you want and you're like, there's no way that is going to come out of this, what I'm seeing now.
Yeah.
So you really have to do a little bit of unlearning there. I'm just saying in the moment, you're just got to be like, fuck it.
Yes.
Like I'm here for this reason right now, not for my future. Yeah. I'm here for the fun experience or for the learning or for the good story on the podcast.
Right. And I do try, because like even with the one guy that we both know I'm talking about, like I would have cut it off at the first. Like I just wouldn't care. But then I was like, okay, you know what? Let's just hang out another time just to see. Because why not? So like I go even further beyond what I want for that reason. But then like sometimes maybe it doesn't look like it. But for me, I'm like, dude, I'm going out on a fucking limb right now.
Yeah, you are. I've never seen you this like engaged in this end of your life.
Right.
And I've known you now for what, 6 years? Maybe, I don't know how long it's been. I've known you for a long time in our 20s. And it's like, this is like when everybody's dating.
But the last like 2 definitely 2 years, 3 years probably now, like we've been like fucking buddy.
Yeah.
So like we know the ins and outs.
Yeah. Like live together, run our business together, the whole nine.
Right.
So it's cool though to see you getting to a place now where you're opening yourself up. I think how I viewed you was like you were closed up and like just I got to do me. And now I think you've gotten to a point where you're willing, like you know who you are more.
Yes.
Because we're always figuring that out. Like it's not like, oh, I know who I am today and that's it for the rest of my
like
life.
A different person every fucking
right.
day.
But like you know who you are to the point where you're willing to open yourself up and share yourself.
Yes.
We talk about this a lot too, is I think like the best part of being with someone is allowing them to love you even when you know that like it's not it. Like you're like, oh God. What I mean by that is like, I know that I'm a fucking nightmare right now. Or like, I probably don't look my hottest. Or what I just said was annoying. Like on paper, that was annoying.
Yeah.
And still having someone love you through that really teaches you to soften. I think I had a long time, like you did, this idea that like I really needed to be completely put together at all times. And that hinders you too. So I know we've gotten completely off the topic of like, I got ghosted, but I think this is good because it goes deeper into where we're at now, which is exciting.
Yeah, and I think that it also is helpful to mention these things because it is developing like that strength or the inner confidence that you need in order to go out and like find that partner that you want, you know, versus saying like, you know what, we were talking and then we were going to go out Sunday and he didn't contact me. And then he did and said he was sick, but it's okay. Like, we'll hang out again. Yeah. Now her response would be like, I think he's just not that into me. And she'd be fine and move on. Yeah. Maybe give it another shot if he comes back around. I don't know. Someone else stops paying him attention. Yeah, so comes back to her. I'm not really sure.
We know how this goes because there was that one person who we've even mentioned on the podcast where like they did another lap. And you're like, welcome back. And nothing changes.
No, it's the same shit. Yeah.
So it's not even worth it.
You're like, you know what? I'm going to be a little hopeful and think that it's going to be different. And then they show you it's not. And you're like, all right.
Yeah.
I guess we move on now. Finally move on. Yeah.
It's like you have to be open enough to allow the experiences to happen, but also protect yourself enough to where you're not going to be completely wrecked over someone else making a decision that doesn't involve you.
Yeah. Exactly.
Is how I would need to tell my past self to get up and get the fuck over it.
Right. And I think that we even talked about this in the previous episode about being ghosted, but you and I talked about this the other day of getting sad. Like if someone was talking to me and then they just lost interest and stopped talking to me. And I'm like, so the reason that we get sad is because, or if I were to get sad in that moment is because I had these expectations of what this person was. And now they're not talking to me, so I'm sad. And I'm heartbroken because I thought, oh, he was going to do this to me. We were going to be in this relationship. It was going to be so great. Okay, now I'm sad. But if you really think about it and look at it for what it actually is, and if he is the man that he showed me, would I be sad if he stopped talking to me? The answer is no. Because he showed me someone that I did not really like.
Yeah, I'm not that interested in it.
Yeah, so who cares? Bye. I literally wish you well in your endeavor. And
classic.
I'm going to go on. Yeah. So we're trying to figure out long form content and our camera doesn't record more than 25 minutes.
Sexy.
So
yeah, that's cool.
We had to pause and come back.
Okay. Something I want to touch on is like, okay, I was the girl. I'm opposite of Madison. Madison was out doing her self-discovery in her 20s. I was like essentially married.
Yeah, you straight up were.
But I wasn't. But it's like I was in something so long-term that it felt like that.
Yeah.
And I was the person who inherently knew that it was no longer the right fit, but then didn't have the strength or the confidence or however we really want to like dive into that. I didn't have that to be able to move on from it. Like I kept myself in there for all of my reasons because I loved the family. I loved the experience. Like when it was good, it was great. I loved that, but then I couldn't pull myself out of it because for all those reasons. And I knew that I should have. And I wish that I could go back and tell my younger self that too, of like, if you're in something, like not even if you're single and out like talking to new people, but if you're in currently something that you know is not right for you anymore, and it's not even about the person, it's just like the relationship, do it. You don't know what's on the other side. You could always get back with that person if it lines up. You could never get back with that person and end up in like the best relationship of your life, like what I got to experience. So you never know unless you go for it. And I think playing it safe and pretending like you're fine when you're not is the worst thing you could do to yourself.
Yeah. I mean, I don't have experience in that, but from my point of view, I feel like that's just betraying yourself and your life. Like what you can experience, you're just cutting yourself off from it out of fear of maybe someone else isn't going to come along. I don't know.
Yeah. Or whatever the reasons may be. You invested X amount of years, you invested all this time and energy. How is like anyone else going to get to know you on this level? You name it.
Yeah.
It's there.
Right.
And I'm here to tell you that that's not the case. There are so many wonderful people out there that you can meet that will offer you even more than what you thought you could experience.
Right. And I think that's why people keep dating, is for that hope.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which I say, yes, I think that that is 100% true, which is why I don't get worried. But some days, and Tess and I joke, I'm like, where the fuck is he?
Yeah, like what's he doing right now?
What's taking so long? Yeah.
He's just like at work doing whatever he's got to do to live his life. It has no idea that you exist.
Hasn't crossed my path yet. Yeah, sure. Who's to say?
God, I want to go into the details, the funny stories about Madison's current endeavors, but I can't. I'm not going to. That's not pressure. I'm just saying like that's what popped into my head. And I was like, oh, man.
I mean, I feel like we could just like say a few things. We can tell that story like maybe eventually. This could even be like a 2-parter. I mean, it will continue because like, unfortunately, I still have to date. No, I'm just kidding. It's not unfortunate, but you know.
I'm so excited for whatever's to
like,
come for
I
you.
am so excited for the stories. Like, I can't fucking wait. No, I'm excited too. I think that there's like a lot of lessons to be learned, and I do like meeting new people. I just am still really hesitant on the dating app thing. Like, I just am so, I'm so turned off from the idea. Because I never hear anything positive. And then like people who are in really good relationships, like you with Phil, like you guys are always like, or maybe he doesn't ever say it, but you'll be like, well, I know so-and-so met their husband on it or this and that. And I'm like, yeah,
brother.
but if you had to go on dating apps right now, would you? Like, so many people try to encourage me, but I'm like, you are not even on dating apps and you've never fucking done one. So like, how can you say just try it? Like, thank you for trying to hype me up, but like sometimes I'm just like, imagine yourself in my position.
Yeah, I know. I'm sorry.
I don't fucking want to do that. I feel like a cow and I'm like in some cattle call and I have some fucking like tag on my ear and they're just like scrolling through like the 5 pictures I put on there. Oh my God. I don't know. And then like my aunt tells me that she's on dating apps because she's newly like separated from her husband and she's like 60. And she just like keeps telling me of how many dick pics she gets. And I'm just like,
no thanks.
Honestly.
Yeah.
Ew.
I know. And then we hear from our friends who are on them like, oh man,
I deleted boys.
Yeah, I deleted the app. There's nothing. But then there's my brother who met his wife on one. And I'm like, okay.
Right. That's a success story for sure.
And I know multiple people who have met their significant others who are like now married. So it's out there. But I understand.
It's an option. I
just
get
keep saying, I understand. Yeah. I understand, Madison.
Understand. I
don't know if I would want to go on it either, but I think everybody's argument is like, if you don't go on it, then what are the chances? Like, you increase your chances of meeting someone your age. Like, realistically, how often are we meeting men our age?
Yeah,
or like not even our age, but that we're interested in? Like, they could be a little bit older, but it's like,
trust me, I think about dating apps every time I'm driving like on the highway on the 101 and I see like some hot guy running and I'm just like, fuck, is he on a dating app?
He could
like,
be.
What am I gonna do? Pull over and say hi? That's weird as fuck. But like, I think about it in those moments where I'm just like, Damn, that would be pretty sick.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But I guess, I don't know.
I just don't know.
We don't go out very often, so
Right.
we're not really teeing up to meet people.
But like that story is changing anyway, you know?
Because we are.
Yeah, like we just are. And I think that like sometimes our society is in such a fucking rush that like they need to have something right the second. Like, oh my God, I need a boyfriend. I need a date for right now tonight. Like, let me get on this dating app and get one.
Yeah.
But I'm like, is that quality? Sometimes, yeah. So
but
I'm like,
most of the time, no.
Yes, I know.
Yeah.
So I'm easing myself into this world, like as I open myself up, and I just don't want to like go into something or take one route that millions of other fucking people are doing just because like that's what people think we should do. Like, you know?
I do. I understand.
Tomorrow I can make a dating app and that would be cool too. But for right now, I'm just like, I don't feel like opening myself up to that specific world until I don't know, something happens where I feel like, yeah, I'm going to make one or I'm not.
Okay.
I don't know. Just like, I hate it.
I know. I don't mean to put you on the defense at all. I'm excited to see you in that chapter whenever it is. Like, I feel no rush for you.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just excited to see you get loved on.
Yeah.
Like, I know how wonderful it feels to be loved on, and I can't wait for you to experience that in like a deep way. I know you've had boyfriends. I know people have loved on you, but it's like to have a partner at this age in your life is a really special thing.
Oh yeah.
Because you're like adult enough to really have coherent thoughts.
Yes.
And plan a future together. Like, that's cool to me.
Yeah, I fucking agree.
So I can't wait for you to experience that whenever that fucking may come.
Yes.
And until then, I'm going to wingman the shit out of you. You know that.
Yeah, Tess is literally the
I
biggest
try
hype girl
so
ever.
hard.
Dude,
Oh
yeah.
Okay, guys, remember last week when we talked about the guy in the elevator, right? I was like, maybe Madison's future husband. We just met him in the elevator.
Yeah,
we had
and
a joke about it.
I was joking that I was going to go down to his floor and get his number and see him again.
What happened then, Madison? Tell the people.
Okay, so we finished recording and we're like, okay, we're going to go for a walk, which we go for a walk every single day for sunset. And we get in the elevator and we're talking and all of a sudden like it dings and I'm like, okay, it's time to get out. And Tess goes, no, this isn't our floor. And I see it's on floor 4. And I'm thinking in my head, like, no fucking way that guy's about to get in this elevator. The same guy literally walks into the elevator. And I was like, dude, what's up? And we fucking talked for whatever. He's going to some party. We're going for a walk. And
so we got his name. He introduced himself. Yeah, he asked us what we're doing. We asked him what he's doing. Mm-hmm. And we know what car he drives. Our car is parked not too far from each other. And I just thought, wow, isn't that funny that we call it the universe, right?
Like what are
that
the
the universe was like, you want to make a joke about him? Well, here he is again.
Yeah, exactly. Like the most perfect timing ever. Yeah. So we met him, and I'll probably never see him again because, again, there's like 3,000 apartments in here.
But wingmanning her, are you ready for this?
Oh, okay. Yeah,
so he's driving in the car behind us. We're headed the same direction as we're going on our walk, and he's going to his party. And I get this hair up my ass. I'm like, that's also the grossest analogy, but I need to, Madison also freaks out. If you guys have been following us from the very beginning, there was this moment where we parked at the grocery store and there was a guy going into the cleaners. He parked right next to us and he was pretty cute. And I tried to get Madison to talk to him. She was like, Tess, stop. And she freaked out.
She's like, I'll literally being put on the spot you. Like that is so I like it to some degree because it
challenges
it's
you.
Funny and it's fun. But it makes me hot nervous.
Yes,
you know?
Of course.
So anyway, she's trying to.
So this guy behind us, I'm like, oh
he's driving directly behind us because we're going to the same place as we talked about in the elevator. Like, oh, we're going to walk down this way and he's going to his friend's party.
So I start typing her name and her phone number on my phone and I turn it sideways so it gets bigger. And I was making a joke that I was going to hold it up to him in the window. And she was like, no, stop. She sees it and she's like, oh my God, it has my name above it. Stop. That's so embarrassing.
My number highlighted in yellow with Madison underneath it. I'm like, we cannot.
Dude, that guy would have been like, no way did this girl.
Doesn't just
put it on my forehead.
Yeah.
Pointing to you. I just think it's fun.
Funny. It's fun.
And
no, it is fun. I appreciate it.
And then when we were at Supercross this weekend, there's obviously like major hotties who race Supercross. Like there's this one guy,
so
he doesn't live in the US
hot.
and he was here only for 3 races and he's so cute. I'm sure he's significantly younger by like a few years, but
At
it doesn't matter.
5 years,
What do you
yeah.
have to lose? And I was like, come on, Madison, go up to him. He was warming up on a stationary
okay, so
bike, literally looking out at us so we could talk to him. And I'm like, Madison, go. And she gets all stiff, like, no, I'm not going.
Okay, because imagine
I'm not judging you.
No, I know, but imagine this shit. It's like they have thousands of fans coming up to them, and I think that I'm gonna go walk up to them and say hi, and they're gonna be like, "Oh my god, you're the hottest thing in the world. Can I have your number?"
Hi, good luck tonight.
Oh my god, though.
See, she can't.
Not. That's so embarrassing.
She brought up she brought up a good point that like it's easy for me to say because I have virtually no skin in the game, right? Like I could go up to someone because I'm so like locked and loaded with my end. Like
right.
Philip is mine and I'm his and we're good on that. I'm not even interested in like what else is there. So I could confidently like go up to someone and be like, hi, good luck tonight. And like, it's easy for me to say because I'm not the one who's vulnerable.
Right.
But if I were single and I was like genuinely like, oh shit, yeah, he is hot, I might feel just as nervous about approaching someone because like, that's really nerve wracking.
Yes, it is.
So I get it. I'm not being hard on you, but I think it is my duty as your best friend to like nudge you.
No, I 100% agree. And that's why I appreciate it is because we talked about this in the last episode briefly. It's just getting out of my comfort zone is really good for me. And like the more that you chip at my fucking rock, like I'm just going to one day surprise you and be like, hey, to some fucking
I would
hottie.
love it.
You know?
Yes.
Yeah.
I would love it.
And that's just a challenge for me anyway this year is just to fucking do that. Like literally what do I have to lose besides rejection, which is also very healthy for us.
Yes.
I know that. Trust me, I'm very rational and I can think that. But in the moment, my body is like red lights. Fucking stop. Please. Danger.
Because it is scary.
And then afterwards, I'm sad. I'm like, damn, he was fucking hot.
Oh, you do feel that.
Yeah, of course. Afterwards, I'm like, I should have done it. But
Hear
of
that,
course.
guys? That means that's my job now.
That's
to go
what
in
I'm
harder,
saying.
To not let off the gas. If she says no, I'm going to go. And if she gets mad at me, well, she'll get over it, won't she?
Yes.
Because she'll be like, stop. Seriously? She'll get like really serious about it and be like, I'm not fucking kidding anymore. Like she gets like really stern
like,
about
I get,
it.
like, actually mad.
And I'm like, you'll get over it. I think it's better. Like there was a time, dude, I'm recalling all the times we've really gone for it. There was a time where we kept seeing this one guy in Malibu and we knew what car he drove and he was like this hot surfer. And I was like, Madison.
Yeah, see? And I did that, didn't I?
She wrote her name or her Instagram handle on a note and put it underneath his windshield wiper. And I was so proud of you in that moment. I was like, my little chickling is now off into the world.
Yes, I am a woman. I know.
Yes.
Yes, I know that. And he ended up messaging me like late, I don't know, a day after that and was like, hey, I'm in a relationship, but don't stop doing that. Like, please keep doing stuff like that because that made my entire day and you might find your guy.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's so nice. So it's worth it.
I'm telling
my future self this.
I'm telling them just the intro of one story, okay?
Oh, okay.
Okay. The last thing I'm going to go out on. This is why you need a fucking best friend who's in a stable relationship so then they can shoot the shot for you. I was on Facebook Marketplace and browsing through. I was selling. When we were moving, we had a couple pieces of furniture that we needed to get rid of because they don't fit in our new place. So I was selling it on Facebook Marketplace. And when I refresh the page, I just look at the listings. And anytime there's anything real estate related, I'm always curious because I'm just like, what's the market like and what can you get for this price? So I'm scrolling through because this place looks really cool and it has like a really nice view. And I'm like, wow, look at this. And then I land on pictures of the roommates. And the first one, I'm like, oh yeah, cute, cool.
And I'm sitting next to her at this point.
We're sitting together. I click on the next photo and the next one is...
He's good looking.
Seems like maybe a smoke show.
And we're silent for a second. And then we look at each other.
And they had a bio. Like in the description of the Facebook Marketplace, like here's what the layout's like, it's 3-bedroom, whatever. And then a little bit about each roommate. So I got a bio and I'm like, Well, this person has nearly every interest that Madison has. They're really good looking.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just going to like see what I can make happen here. So I look at Madison. I'm like, I'm going to message him. And she's like, stop. No, what are you going to say? And I was like, no, like we're going to do this right now. Okay. Like just let me do this.
And then I agreed to it. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
So we do it. And I went straight for it. Cause if I've learned anything, I've done some embarrassing shit where I like wish I had just been more upfront. Like,
It's better to just be upfront sometimes.
yeah. I was like, if I've learned anything, you just go for it. You don't like try to beat around the bush. Like just what do you want from this person? And I was like, look, put his name. I don't need to rent a room in your place, but I need to ask if you're single because you have so much in common with my best friend. And like, she's super cute and really cool. And I think that, you know, if you're single, it could be a something for you guys. And then he got back like relatively quick. And one thing led to another. He thought Madison was super cute based off of her Instagram, which of course, duh. And yeah, and then they started, you know, just getting in contact with each other. So if you are the friend in the relationship, you need to wing woman or wingman for your friend, but know what, like how to do it. You like, don't go to a bar and be like, oh, have you met my friend Madison? Like, no, he obviously hasn't met your friend Madison. That's weird for both parties now. And your friend feels like she just got thrown under the bus. So don't do that. It just has to be like when the timing is right and you're pretty confident in it, that's when you pull the trigger and you do something like that. Unless you're trying to just get a good laugh and get your friend mad, then you go in a little deeper.
That's a little different, obviously, but just, yeah.
Yeah. And then if you're the single friend, you need to let your friends step up for you in that way because it's fun for them.
Well, especially if they know you well.
Yes.
Like, you know me so fucking well, like better than honestly anyone. So I trust you when you do that.
Okay,
you know,
great.
it's not like you would like steer me in a wrong direction.
I hope.
Yeah.
Then I got nervous. I'm like, dude, what if I hook her up
You're
with?
like, oh
Like,
my
is he?
God,
What if
it's
he's a
relying on me
kidnapper?
Now. Yeah, exactly. Dude.
Yeah. But anyways, that's our dating conversation for today, I think.
Yeah. I feel like I have like funny things that I could say, but maybe we'll just do that in another episode.
Please enlighten me.
Well, I feel like.
Tell me your funny things. You can't end with that. Be like, I have funny things, but I'll tell you next time.
Go into like a whole other thing.
About dating?
Yeah. Just about like what men do and like maybe don't do that. So like maybe we keep it for a whole episode.
Okay.
Why not?
Okay. That's
right?
fine. Sure. Okay. Us making executive decisions.
Because I feel, I just feel like we should just make it a whole other episode.
Okay. Well, I guess then congratulations on being open to this world of dating. Congratulations to me for saying thank you and see you later to a relationship that didn't work, for learning my lessons while I did my 1.5 years of dating, or maybe it was only a year. Maybe it was only 6 months. I'm not really sure. And then congratulations to me for being in a relationship now that's so happy and loving.
I always say this to Tess, but I am really thankful that I live with her and Phil because it's like the first like real life example that I've had of a healthy relationship. Like there was like my parents' relationship obviously, but that ended in a divorce, and I think I got like the latter half of them not like being so in love anymore. So like being with you guys and it's at like the inception of the relationship, it's very healthy for me to see it. That
makes me really happy because sometimes you don't know, like if you're being affectionate with your partner and like you have your friend there, you're like, like is this annoying for them? So you don't know, but to know that it's not and that you like to see it.
They're just going to be like all over each other now. Yeah, exactly.
No, I'm just not going to kick up. I'm just saying like how we're like cutesy and shit. And like,
no, I don't ever feel weird about that.
Yeah.
I know. I remember when I was younger and like side note, people would get like mad when people would show affection like in a public place or something. And I'm like, why? As long as you're not like having sex in front of me, obviously. But if they're like touching and like holding hands, like why are we upset about that?
I don't know.
Isn't that weird? I'm like, no, that's cute that they're outwardly showing their love for each other. Like we should actually encourage that. Yeah.
Yeah. When people like I know what you're saying when like they're like, ew, to PDA.
Yes,
I'm like,
a lot of people have said,
yeah,
like
why? Why are they not allowed to kiss each other or hug each other or hold each other's hands or sit on the lap? Like, why not?
Yeah.
So you want everybody in the world to not show each other affection in public?
Yes.
Only behind closed doors? Do you know what that does to a person? To feel like, oh, I can only be lovey-dovey with my person.
Personally attacked by this.
No,
and I actually know
totally.
why.
Because I'm like,
I know.
So now I feel like I can't be in a relationship in the public eye, but like, oh, once the door shuts, like that to me is not hot. The whole day needs to lead up for me to be like, let's go tonight. Like, I want to be like, I'm like, it was special during the day. Like, oh, I like love this person. And now I get to bed and I'm like, let's go.
No, if someone is not affectionate with me, like if we're like at a party or something and like that person doesn't like look over from time to time and like wink at me or like walk by and like smack my ass or something, I'm fucking mad.
Yeah.
Like, no,
because
you need to show people that I'm yours and that you're mine, for fuck's sake.
But here's my argument on that, and then I'm leaving.
All right.
Mic dropping, okay?
Okay.
There is only like in a monogamous relationship, not an open relationship, there is only one person in the world.
I've been in so many open relationships.
No,
so we need to clarify,
I try to be like
monogamous.
PC.
No, yeah, that's good. It's fine.
Okay.
Yes.
In a monogamous relationship, there's only one person in the world that you're doing all of that stuff with, that can smack your butt, that can give you a kiss on the cheek or on the mouth, or like all of that, throw you over their shoulder. There's only one person that you're doing that with. And if you're not receiving it, then I feel like I'm getting the short end of the stick.
Yeah,
like
absolutely.
I could be getting loved on all day long, but instead I'm not.
Yeah.
No, that's not it for me. But that's also, I guess, maybe a love language thing.
Yeah,
of like,
I would say that. And it's also just something that you value in a relationship. But I mean, you're preaching to the choir here, because I fucking love that too.
Yeah.
Like, that is necessary.
Like, engage with me. Show me that you're interested.
Yes.
No matter where we are.
Like, spark that little tension that like we both have, like a language that we know and no one else knows. Dude.
Yeah.
I know.
Because I feel like if you don't have that with that person, you start to crave it and you're going to start looking somewhere else for it.
And also, I have friends that show me more affection than that shit.
Yeah,
like,
right?
Yeah.
I know.
Damn. That's another thing I would say is like establishing that deep confidence. We're done after this. Establishing that deep confidence, like for you to go out and like date and not feel rejected and ego, whatever the fuck, is having a core friend group, because like at least you always have their love. Like if you can't give it to yourself, like if on Sunday you always have your friend's love, and I don't have to seek it elsewhere from someone who's lackluster. And I would say that's all for today. And maybe next week we come in hot with a masterclass on
what
all
not
things,
to do.
Yeah. What the Cowboys think should not be done when trying to pursue a woman as a man.
We have to be
only
PC,
we can speak. Yeah, well, only we can speak from our experience, and it's just is funny. Like, human behavior can be fucked up, but it's also pretty funny. And to say it and like with your best friend while you're being recorded, that's gold right there. Like, I can't wait to listen back when I'm like 40. Just be like, dude, can you believe that shit? Someone keeps asking you to go in the jacuzzi. Like that shit. What is that?
You know what it is.
I do know what it is, but I'm literally 29 years old. Like, yeah, I do like jacuzzis, and I would go.
Okay.
But like,
okay.
The fuck?
Okay. Next week. Okay, next week.
Until next week.
We love you guys. Thanks for tuning in.
Thank you so much for listening. We're back better than ever.
Have a great day.
Yeah. Have a great week.
Okay, bye.
Soon.